it to YouTube.
Okay, and it says end stream. We can't still be live.
Let's go live, maybe. Maybe this one's... Oh, it's because we've still got the same thing.
Okay.
All right,
so we're on. Is that right?
Yeah, so just press play there and...
Okay, let's see where... So what do I do? Oh, fuck, this is terrible. Come on.
You got to laugh, babe.
I got to laugh or you cry.
I mean, this is what happens when you've got a live thing happening.
Okay, so we're on live.
We're on live.
Is this the new live?
This is...
Or the old live?
This is the recorded live with the fact that we can
We've only been going for 40 seconds. So I want to apologise. Let me take full responsibility for this. I started our live and I was just discoursing with you all and really excited. And after a few minutes, Lou looked at the microphone and went, did you know that wasn't on? I went, no. Okay, so I was talking to myself and Lou was then talking to herself. We were talking to each other to nobody over there that could hear us. So I apologise for that. We're back on. We're on and we're talking about honouring the soul journey. Holy heck. So here we are. And Lou's just... I'm
just letting people know that we came back on.
Yeah, we're back on. And look, if you can't hear us, please let us know. Yeah, let us know if you can't hear us. I'm sure you're allowed to, or you're able to do something in the chat here. Okay. Okay. Shit happens. We love Jitsi. It was us. It was me. I didn't have the microphone going. I wasn't honouring my soul journey. Your microphone appears to be noisy. Sounds like...
It's because you're speaking so loud.
No, it just gave us a message.
Well, you need the pop filter.
Oh, no, I don't, because we didn't have it last time. It was all good. Is that better, everybody? I don't want to be yelling at you. Holy shit. Here we go. Honouring the soul journey by being calm when shit happens. Okay? So what is the soul journey and how do we honour that in these incredibly disruptive times? So those of you that missed or got kicked out of the first live because you couldn't hear us and we had to restart it, we're here now. This is volume 2, okay? So come back and we apologise for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know how to have a good laugh at ourselves. I mean, we've been doing it most of our time together, haven't we? And if you're not laughing at me, I'm laughing at you.
That's right.
Even if we don't like it.
That's right.
So what is the soul journey and how do we honour that in these incredibly disruptive times? What has come into your field that you need to deal with to honour your journey? Everybody can ask themselves that. Do we have to go and hide in a cave and meditate 24/7? How do we experience our true self in peace and truth while the world is seemingly blowing itself up? This is Alive with Heather Louise and maybe Cifehtr. And we're not going to talk for too long about that. We're just going to, get down and dirty with you about this. And this has all come about, really, this whole question for me has come about through some incredibly intense and super challenging circumstances and things and energies that we've had to deal with over the last few weeks that have all come to a head. And I had to really have a look at everything in my life all of a sudden, and it caused a whole lot of questioning for myself about many things, and ultimately it came back to that question: am I honouring my soul journey? And I realised that I hadn't been. In order to honour my soul journey, there may be disruption, there may be explosions in my life, or there may be an enormous amount of clearing, but that was okay. It was going to be okay. So an incredible feet in many ways, and it's still ongoing. And like everybody, that's okay. You carry on talking.
All right. It would just I just want to make sure that we've all got everything going on the live stream, etc., etc. And but yeah, as Heather was saying, we've got to honor our journey, the journey of the soul, and it's interesting because it's something that we find that has been perhaps spoken about over time about the soul journey, doing things this way and all this. But Cifehtr actually had a discussion with us the other night, and listening. I mean, obviously, some of you who know me, when I channel, it's like I disappear, don't really know what's going on. And so chatting to Heather afterwards, I was like, she was telling me how he was challenging both of us, really, because obviously when he speaks to Heather, I get the feedback about honoring our soul journey. Now, our soul journey is very different to the way that he described it, very different to the way that I've always conceived it. So back over to you, my sweetheart, who was actually in the conversation, but I'm going to actually maybe bring Cifehtr through to expand on this because it's a really, really interesting subject. And I think it's very different to what most people feel a soul journey is.
Well, I don't know.
In as much as, I've heard people talk about soul journey where you go on this deep mission and pilgrimage to find out who you are, find out what you're doing, blah, 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 and, heal yourself, etc. And the way that he was describing it to you the other day.
You just sit over to me and you carried on talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, that's because I think it's to talk about that soul journey. And you went, oh, I don't know. So I'm like trying to clarify. Clarification is good, darling.
You sit over to me. And when you say, I feel that people may not really, for me, I can't agree with that. I have no idea what other people are feeling or thinking about this. I'm just talking from my perspective and from my experience, and also looking for feedback and comments from our crew, from our people there. Now, listen, guys, we're going to be doing a lot more of this stuff on YouTube, from Facebook to YouTube, more focusing on the YouTube. And we're really interested in you guys subscribing and clicking the notification button so you can be a part of the chat and stuff like that, and so that we can work together as a community, a tribe, talking about these things. That's really important. And I don't really know what people are thinking about this at the moment, but I do know that there's a lot of disruption and there's a lot of people going WTF, because our last video, we got a bit of feedback privately as well about it, where people are going, well, thanks for that, because this is what's been going on, is these energy dumps and this intense stuff happening is what the fuck, etc. And since then, and to be honest, when I did that video with you, I actually felt like I didn't want to be there. I was so down. It was so difficult for me to do that whole video, but I made myself move my way through it, move my energy through it, and that over the next 2 days, I did a whole lot more clearing, and this question about the soul journey came up, and this suggestion about honoring the soul journey. And as a result of that, I've been listening to a couple of other YouTubers. I don't listen to much stuff. There's only 2 or 3 that I really value at this time, and one of them put a meme up at the front of his show, and it said this, and this said it all for me about the soul journey. Empathy without boundaries leads to self-destruction. That hit the nail on the head for me. Empathy without boundaries leads to self-destruction, and this can apply to absolutely anybody. Okay. And so it was so important for me to hear that. So thank you to Jean Nolan of Inspire, beautiful YouTube channel he's got a lot of subscribers there, and I can see why. So you want to head over to John Nolan's Inspired channel as well. Go and check it out. great stuff. I love his stuff. I love more his spiritual connection stuff. I really enjoy it, and he's got his lovely wife there supporting him on that channel, as we do, working together.
You know what? I'm getting really confused with this, the cameras and all the rest of it. I don't know, 'cause that's why I'm always looking like I'm looking at something over there. So no, I need that one to make sure I'm looking correct.
You look at that one.
Yeah. So
sorry if Lou's darting her eyes and I'm darting my eyes, because we have the big screen, but we also have
the tiny screen down here, and the camera's linked to the tiny screen, so it's a case of like.
So you look at the camera, darling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyway, one of the things that Heather spoke to me about with Cifehtr, regaling with this conversation, was the statement of, if you do not honor your own self, if you do not honor your own spirit, your own soul, you cannot expect anyone else to respect you or respect your journey, what you're doing, etc., because self-mastery, self-integrity, self-care, self-respect all comes from that final decision that we have to make within ourselves to respect who we are in every way possible. It doesn't matter if somebody else's perspective of us is over there and there and there. We have to look at who we are, and we have to respect the decisions we make, the choices we make, the life we live. We have to respect our own soul journey. And the soul journey is, how did he put it about the vibration? I'm feeling it in my energy, but.
Well, if you honor your own soul journey with your thoughts, your actions, energy, everything you deliver in your life, then other people are more likely to be honoring you, or they'll be keeping out of your bloody way, and you won't be having the types of interactions that have caused problems previously. So honoring your soul journey for yourself changes your vibrational frequency. It changes it. So Lou and I, as we mentioned with the energy dump thing, have been through a pretty intense and challenging time, which we've placed ourselves in. We've placed ourselves in it, but we hadn't always expected the responses back from outside the way that it's come in. Okay. And we've been too loose on our boundaries maybe, or too relaxed in certain areas, or too scared or fearful to speak our truth in certain areas, and that's caused some issues. And so honoring the soul journey, to me, right in a nutshell, is about honoring my boundaries and honoring what is okay in truth in my core, not my ego desires. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my core energy and integrating that back in. What is okay for my soul journey without attachment? And it's been a massive revelation, one would say. At the age of 65, I think I've been through this before. It's a cycle, but this has been massive, even more so than even previously, at a deeper level. So honoring one's soul journey and doing that and acting that will change your vibrational frequency and will alter the way other things come and interact with you. And there'll be certain interactions you won't have anymore, because your frequency, your consciousness will be in a different place of receptivity and flow. So that's how I perceive it anyway. Anyone got questions here or comments? I think we can get a live chat on this. If you put something in the live chat, it can come up there if it's showing. If it's not showing, let us know. And then next time we'll work it out. We can't work it out at the moment because we haven't done much of the live chat thing with YouTube. Welcome, Cifehtr. Thank you very much for being here and being such a great support energy for us at this, I'm going to call it a crazy time, but I'm actually really more excited now than I have felt in years since we did the Tobias energy vortices stuff. That's nearly 5 years.
It is indeed. It's been
So-
a time and a half since Tobias brought through the Vortice teachings, which are still relevant for today. I know that many that attended that particular session of teachings with him are still benefiting from that in this time of this moment. But in regards to the soul journey, remember I said to you, when you come to the awareness that you are not here to fix everyone else, if you come to the awareness that you are not here to be the world's savior or the family savior or the friend's savior, you are here simply to vibrate, to resonate, to create within your own self the attraction of energy to enable you to function at that which is the depth, the width, the height, and the speed that you are able to cope at the given moment. When you begin to vibrate and you begin to have an awareness, and the vibration does not come immediately, it comes when you have an awareness. And the awareness is not just, oh, yes, I know that. It is a deep soul shaking awareness. It is when it drops into the very belly of the beast, so to speak. In other words, it comes into you and it shakes you to your core, this awakening awareness that you indeed are here purposefully. You are here not to deflect, not to absorb, not to live somebody else's life, but simply to be in this timeline, to correct, to adjust, to fulfill that which you are here to do, not the choices of your family, not the choices of your friends, of your soul family, etc., but your pattern, your timeline. When you suddenly realize this and you begin to see that you are in play for the best event of your life, because you all of a sudden now are refocusing your energy inward. Now, you're not becoming contemplative. You're not becoming, how does one put this, in a state of delving into yourself and looking up for the belly button fluff, etc. No, what is happening is you are going inward into your own growth so that you are able to expand out. Yes? When you realize that everything that is occurring in your timeline has occurred either because, now hear me out here, either because you do not care about what happens in your timeline, so everything is just dumping into your timeline, or it is happening because you have somewhere given permission that everything is available to be done, or you simply don't know how to put your boundaries up. Or you put your boundaries up, but you are unsure of how to establish your domain. And so things happen, but not as severely as you see in other people's lives. And you sometimes look and you go, why am I like this? At least I'm not like that, but I want to be like that. And so heed what I'm trying to say to you and open the ears. Hear what is to be said, not with the physical ears, but with the spiritual and innately gifted ears of the heart. Yes? You come to the awareness of who you are. Who are you? Who are you? And please don't quote me, I am that I am. I honor that statement, but who are you? Who are you in the very depth of your soul, the very depth of the core energy that is you? When you discover who you are, and it is unique to each individual soul, the awakening moment, when you are aligned both in the mind, the brain, and the heart, and you have that awareness of who you are, it is unshakable. So you now begin to vibrate in a certain manner. You also are bringing in frequencies and sending out frequencies from that vibration. So you are beginning to fall in love with what you are and who you are. And when you become so defined in your vibration, when you become so defined in your knowing, in that which is your core energy of being, when you know who you are and you are vibrating, and you know that the more you discover who you are, it vibrates more. The more you learn about how to activate who you are, it begins to vibrate. When you begin to absorb from the universe the gifts and the talents and the opportunities and all the things that are waiting for you to take a hold of, they've been there since you were a mere thought, so to speak, in the very essence of your father and your mother. As you entered into the world, they were there. As you grew each step of your life as a child, as an adult, they were there. But you did not know they were there. You had a feeling that you could do things, that potentially this was possible. But when you awaken and you come into the knowledge that this is who you are, that these energetic deposits around you are easily accessible, and you begin to pull them in, and you begin to nourish them and allow them to nourish you, and you vibrate and you vibrate and you vibrate, the frequency of that begins to emanate out of you. Now, here's a clue. You are not here to save the world. You are not here to save your partner. You are not here to save your children. You are not here to save your parents. You are not here to save anyone, not even the world. You are here to save yourself. Hear me out. When you become aware that this beautiful soul is what you need to cater to, you need to love, you need to grow, nourish, strengthen, bring to the awareness of where it needs to be, it will, as you vibrate and resonate, it will begin to emanate that energy outward. What happens when that energy emanates outward is your life partner or partner of the time looks at you and goes, "You're different. You've changed. You speak differently. You act differently. You hold your energy differently. You are manifesting differently. You're creating differently. You're attracting a different type of energy and being to you." And they will either change with that, or they will vibrate out of your sequence, out of your frequency. If that happens, do not be sad, because they may have been the cause originally for holding you back, but they could have been the catalyst to get you to where you are now. So do not be sad, be grateful. Always have the allowance of gratefulness, of gratitude in you, yes, for everything that occurs. As you begin to change and alter, and that again feeds the soul, what begins to happen is you begin to discover more of the soul journey. Now, what is the soul journey? The journey of the soul is to absorb, to learn, to observe, to experience everything it can, that it may be, in a manner of speaking, in co-creation with the spirit, which is in co-creation with your meat suit or avatar or body or whatever you wish to call it. So you see, it's the trifold energy of you. You have the physical body, you have the spirit within, and then there is the soul. Now, as Heather said, but soul, spirit, isn't that the same thing? And I said, no, listen to me here. The avatar, the meat suit, the space suit, the body that you use, yes, to walk around the earth, is the spirit. It is activated by the breath, by the spirit of life. Yes? Now, the spirit of life is activated by the soul. Now, the soul is connected to the divine. It is integrated into the spirit, which thus makes it integrated to the divine. But the spirit is what activates the physicality. Now, the physicality, as you know, many times has been recorded that when the physicality passes over, no longer functions, there is a moment where individuals have seen the energy leave. That is because the soul and spirit are connected. The spirit and soul are united, and the soul will take the spirit to the divine. But that is another story, and that is another, shall we say, discussion point. But what I want you to hear tonight is that you are in a position to focus on you. Now, this is not to be selfish, to be arrogant, to be narcissistic. This is to be, in a manner of speaking, in the most gentlest and holistic and the most loving space that you can find. Because when you love unto yourself and you take into yourself the holisticness of all that the cosmic has for you, so that you are able to divulge the very truths of who you are, and also begin to release yourself from the entrapments and the distractions of the world that is around you. Remember, you are only visiting. You're here for a short period of time, but the world would try to convince you that you are repeating this. Yes, you're incarnating. You're not getting out of this. You live this life, you come back, you incarnate, you live that life. You do this, you do that. Oh, if you slap this person the wrong way, you're going to come back and be slapped in the next life. What I want you to see.
Please stop the bus. I want to get off.
What I want you to see is that has always been a potential, and that many have jumped on that loop and that Ouroboros wheel. But now we're in this definitive time where you are able to release yourself from that loop. And you are able to discover for yourself the true meaning of your soul journey by making a conscious choice to awaken within yourself. Now, some will call this awakening the immortal within. Some will call it awakening the soul within. Some will call it whatever name. Me, I say it's awakening in the mind and awakening in the heart. Now, you might say, but the mind is the logic. It's the attachment of, or the connection to the reptilian and blah, 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 or the bad and the, no. Without your mind, you are unable to process the functions of the heart. It is its translator. The two work hand in hand. Find who you are. Find who you are, and then begin to grow. What else have you got on this?
Massive shift recently into new awareness, and we can't be alone with this because we've talked about the energy dumps. So maybe you could touch on that, the massive shift into new awareness. Many may be going through this, and also you probably on another note, you tapped on the central nervous system runs it all. What runs the central nervous system? You probably tapped on that. That's a good one. A lot of people say you jacked into your avatar and inject into the central nervous system. But you made a comment to me about that.
What did I say? What can you remember?
I
do this to her so that it is a challenge of her memory.
You just want to find out if I wasn't asleep or not
And
when you mentioned
true.
it. Then you said, well, what's running the central nervous system? I said, well, the spirit, the soul.
And that's when I went into the different separation of that. Yes.
Yeah, of that. So
the nervous system is, or the central nervous system, if we agree, is in your physical body, is attached to the brain cells, to the brain stem. You slap something, you cut something of your body, it's going to react. You hear something loud and you jolt. The central nervous system is there to ensure that your physicality is protected, is healed, is looked after. However, what runs the central nervous system? What runs the flesh and bones? Yes, the blood that circulates you. What is this this flesh body, how is it run? What runs it? The nervous system, the central nervous system. What runs the nervous system? What runs it? Now, I said to Heather that yes, it was the spirit that runs the body. But what runs the spirit? That's where the soul comes in. Yes. Now, there is another component that in this timeline that you're in with this Ouroboros loop, yes, the Ouroboros loop has not just happened in the last 5 years or 10 years. It's been in the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 years. It's been going for a long time. It's a long-term thing. Now, yes, you could say, oh, but hang on, wait a minute. The calendar, the Chinese calendar from which this is taken is only every X many years, 10 years or so, blah, 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 or 12 years. And I would say, but who told you
6,
that?
12, yeah.
It's like, who told you that the sky is blue and the grass is green? This is the central nervous system plugging into something that is programmed to tell you these certain things. You go to school, you're told this and this and this and this. You're put into a uniform. Why are you put into a uniform? So that you are uniform, that you conform to the unified way of thinking. You are uniform, yes? Even when you break free from the uniform and you go and they free you from the uniform at school or work, and you can do what you want. You can wear what you want. Who will automatically defer to their denim trousers and T-shirts and the leather jackets or the leather jacket? You still are in a uniform because you think, oh, I look cool in this. This makes me stand out. But the thing is, so does the next individual and the next individual and the next individual. Teenagers are a wonderful example of this. Now, when we realize that the physical body has 2 plugins, it has a spiritual plugin of the central nervous system.
Can I just go and let the dog in? I'm sorry to interrupt. You can grab that seat if you like. He's scratching at the door. Apologies, everyone.
So you have the spiritual plugin of the central nervous system, and then you have the physical plugin of the central nervous system. Now, these work very, very closely together, which is why they often can get mixed up. When we connect into that which is the spiritual, we bypass the physical plugins, which is the uploads from the, let us just call it the inputs of society, the inputs of the programming of everything that is around you, from the TV, from the radio, from the media, from the social media, from your friends, from the movies, from the books, from the podcasts, from everything, the Wi-Fi. You are bypassing that when you connect to the spiritual. If you do not connect to the spiritual central nervous system, you are plugged into the game, plugged into that which is the central nervous system of the programming that is your essence of being. So when you realize that there is an awareness, I just want to check for any messages that are out there. So when you see that there is this parallel, if I can call it that, the parallel of the central nervous system of a physical or a mortal or a manufactured and the spiritual nervous system, you have to realize that the spiritual nervous system is still going to attach itself into your physical body. Why? Because the central nervous system is the spirit. The spirit needs to plug in to your physical to make you aware of the higher cognizance, the higher levels, the higher achievements, the higher connections that are possible. But how does it get plugged in, and how does it awaken you to those possibilities? it has to work very closely with the secular, let's just call it the secular, or the man-made central nervous system. The central nervous system that is out here that plugs into your meat suit, into your flesh, begins to bring you into contact with things that jar you, catalyst you, trigger you. And you begin to realize that there is more than just watching movies on a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Monday. There's more to life than doom scrolling. There's more to life than just getting pissed every night. There's more to life than just going out and having a new girlfriend every night or a new boyfriend every night. There's more to life than just being boring and going to work, or just not expecting anything out of life, to just do the doing. Now, I'm being a bit graphic, and I'm being a bit, shall we say, what would you call that? Very specific.
I think
yes?
you're being real.
But I want you to see that there are many in today's society that care nothing for the norms. And I use this terminology because society has been programmed, again, I'm using that word, to walk away from the unit, to walk away from the home, to walk away from the norms of what is acceptable, to create new norms of what is acceptable, to the point where they come desensitized from everything that is around them. And everything is acceptable. But in reality, in their heart, in the depths of who they are, when they are alone at night and there is no light and there is no other being there, just them and their consciousness, they ponder and they say, why? Why am I alone? Why do I feel guilty? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like that? Oh, I better have another drink to stop that. I better have another this to stop that. My friends, this is the spiritual nervous system coming in and going, wake up, wake up, feel, let me come in, let me. And what it does is it starts to overtake the natural nervous system. Your natural nervous system is still going to function. It's still going to make you twitch and feel and hear and all the rest of it. But the spiritual nervous system now settles in. It brings the spirit in, the breath, the life. Why do I strangely feel quiet and calm when I just start to breathe? Nobody's taught you how to do meditation. Nobody's taught you about that, but you've somehow instinctively feel to breathe, to just be quiet. More and more, we find in this day and age that companies are encouraging meditation. Why? Because if they can get you to desensitize your nervous system through quietening it down, then they can reintroduce you to new things where you will be more compliant because, oh, well, I'm calmer now. There's a lot in the neurolinguistic parameters that you need to look at, especially with different things that are happening. Your soul journey is so important because that is what enables you to go from one realm to the next, one dimension to the next, one existence to the next, without having to keep repeating the incarnations. But it is up to you how you allow this to happen. What would you like to say?
There's nothing for me to say. I think you've covered it. It's great. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Look, so can we just briefly touch on what are some of the symptoms that people have when they deny their soul's journey?
Well, look at your own journey. And what did you?
Anxiety, depression, agitation, confusion,
fear.
Fear.
And let me just rephrase the fear. It was fear that you could not put your finger on. Why am I afraid? There's nothing, shall we say, in the immediate space that you exist in that is creating a fear, but it's an innate. It's inside. Why am I frightened? Where's this fear come from? It's a spiritual fear. Now you might go, oh, hang on, but I thought spirit was supposed to be loving and kind. Yes, your soul and the spirit of the divine is that. But if you're connected into the world spirit, because that is a spiritual existence of negativity, of domination, of narcissistic tendencies, this will feed into you.
When you say the world spirit, you're talking about the world plane.
Consciousness, all of that before you realize that you actually have a choice to either live this way or live this way. Which way am I going to live?
And it's more, it's true, isn't it, that it's absolutely more obvious and more intense now than probably, it has probably than ever in my lifetime, this time that I remember anyway. It's much more obvious that there's much more negativity that can be fed into or can feed into us if we allow it. So I think this, for me, that negativity, in actual fact, has helped me to go, fuck this.
We see
Where's my soul journey?
This is the wonderful thing about the propaganda machine of negativity, of the parasitical, nefarious, formless ones that exist out there, that inhabit the minds and bodies of some of the elite, or control them through thought and telepathy and all of that. Now, people out there might go, oh my God, no, not one of them. That's another David Icke typey thingy. Well, go watch something else.
Yeah, too bad.
But listen to this. There is more and more evidence that there are individuals upon the face of this earth that when you can meet them and you talk to them and you discover that they are not the person that you knew 10 years ago. They have no memory of you 10 years ago, but you know damn well that was there. Let's look at the Mandela effect. Now everybody goes, oh, the Mandela effect it's just things happen, change, and people remember one thing over another because you can't always remember your memories and things over a long period of time. Well, that being the case, why is it that there are those who have the artifacts of what they say is true? Whether it is the corn of fruit or whether it is the Bernstein, whether it is the Matrix, whether it is
Mandela
being alive or dying. Whether it is a Forrest Gump movie, what did he say when he had the box of chocolates? Is mother always said life is a box of chocolates, or is it life was a box of chocolates? One word, but people remember this or people remember that. You see, these things are not just glitches in the Matrix, as you would say. They are real-time, real-life, soft resets where they are trying to adjust the mentality, the overall consciousness of the, let us just call it the quantum consciousness of man, so that history is rewritten. So therefore, they do not have to answer the hard questions. Now, who are they? Well, I will say that they are the draconians, they are the greys, they are the mantids, they are the formless ones. Now, the formless ones were created eons ago before any of the others that I've just mentioned came into existence.
We're going full Metal Jacket now.
We're going full Metal Jacket. The formless ones have no body. They are energy beings. They will inhabit anyone and anything that will give them permission. Be they biped or alien or other being, right? Angelic, whatever. I don't care. If a being says, I'm okay, you can do this to me, they are taken over. Yes? When that happens, there are things that are set in motion. Because, say, for argument's sake, a powerful man who has access to a lot, an enormous amount of authority, an enormous amount of intelligence, an enormous amount of finance, decides that he is, or she is, hungry for more power, wants more wealth, wants to live for a very long time. And they make a deal. You know the saying, sold their soul to the devil. Well, that actually happens to a degree. It actually happens. When this happens, they get physically everything they want. They live forever. What that means is that every time there is a reset, every time there is an incarnation, their soul comes back into a body in the same bloodline, and it remembers everything. So all the new experiences are stored. They forget nothing, which is why they can actually go back and they can start to regurgitate a historical event, and they can go, now we need to change this, we need to change this, we need to change this. Because you don't remember anything, because the reset happened and it cleared the memory, the corporate memory of mankind. But they remember it because they are, let's just use this word, not men and women. They look men and women, but they're not. And they have access to all of this stuff, and they portray themselves as something great. Those under them go, oh my God, they're not gods, but man, they've got access to a lot of information. And so there is this, how do I put this? This bowing down to a power, to an energy that is not for the highest good. Now this permeates outward. It starts to infect the living men and women that it comes into contact with, not by a disease that you see on the outside. No, it goes inward. This darkness just permeates the planet, and it eventually it's fed through the media, it's fed through the news, it's fed through all of these different places, because that's where the power is. Until you decide to stand up and you go, I am that I am.
I'm honoring my soul journey now.
Who am I? If I say I am that I am, well, who the heck am I? And you start to go into the I am. Who am I? What am I? And you awaken within. You awaken within your mind. You awaken within your heart. And you suddenly see that everything that you've been fed is a bunch of lies. But it is coated with a thin layer of truth. Because if it was an actual lie, you would intuitively go, that's bullshit. But when there is truth married into the lie, it's very difficult to deny the truth, because if you deny the truth, you accept the lie. But if you deny the lie, you're denying the truth. So you have to have that marriage, and it's entwined, and they mix it up so very, very well. In this timeline, you have the opportunity in that Ouroboros energy of this year, of the 2025, the year of self-mastery, to take back the mastery of self. To say, get away from me. I do not give consent. You do not have permission to interfere with my life. Now, you might not have accepted anything into your spirit being, yeah? But if you calmly just go along with everything that's there, oh, government says mandate this, oh, government says mandate that, oh, government says you must do this, oh, government says you must do that, and you plod along and you do everything because you're a good little being, you are accepting what this power, this energy is declaring over this world. This is why, and I'm going to borrow something from the Bible, it says there are principalities and powers over areas of the world. Yes? Paraphrase. Now, this is a prime example of lies mixed with truth. The Bible has an enormous amount of lies, in as much as it's grafted from many other cultural things mixed together. But in that mix, they have placed truths so powerful, so strong, that when you read the truth, you go, well, the whole thing must be true. Mm. Because how can this and this not be a truth when this is a truth? But we can get into that argument in a different story.
Wow, there's a lot to digest
I
here.
think I'm going to turn off the dialogue now.
Snip it at that piece.
The only reason is you have taught me short periods, good concentration.
Well, but see, this has given us lots of opening to continue on with the next conversation, which I think's going to be just as fantastic and just as valid.
Well, I have enjoyed sharing some time, even if I have gone full metal jacket on you, even if I have maybe shaken the brain cells a little bit and maybe got you a little angry. I hope so, because that means you might write. You might put some comments down there and give us a chance to communicate. Yes.
Yeah. Put down your comments, or your questions, or whatever it is. Please do.
Yeah, even in the spiritual realm, even in the new age, even in the awakened community, even in the community of people that see things, of the channelings and the message breaking and the healing and all the rest of it, we all have a point of view. And you may say, hang on, I work with the Greys. I work with the Draconians, and they've shown me nothing but kindness and help and da-da-da. And I've been connected to a mantid, and it's just full of love and blah, 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 blah. Well, come to me, talk to me, and I will then turn to you, and I in turn will say, well, have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? And you will say, but what about this? What about? And we will have dialogue. You see, there are good Greys. There are good mantids. There are good in every culture. But there is a large perspective and a large majority that are not. So be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Can you go to the left and grab that book there? Just grab the book. Yeah, that one. Yep. I'm going to plug Cifehtr's book. This is fantastic. The Mystery Teachings of Self-Mastery. You can get it on Amazon, or better still, go to reiss-james.com. I'll put the link.
Well, I don't think they should do the Amazon. The only reason is because she's had to do some corrections on it, so it's not there at the moment.
Oh, well, thanks for letting us know.
But if you go to her website, reiss-james.com, you can put an order in, and she will get it out to you as soon as possible.
This is fantastic. This has been amazing.
She'll autograph.
This has been written by Louise and Cifehtr.
Yeah.
Okay, Lewin channel, and it's just bloody amazing. And it goes into the Saint Germain, Adama Saint Germain lineage that is Cifehtr, and his lifetimes and experiences, even in Freemasonry, and how he managed to release himself from that. Anyway, it's a great one. Okay, guys and girls, and those that are in between, should I say, doesn't matter. If you're here and you've resonated, or you want to come back for more and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and give us a like. That really helps us. Look, we're new in the YouTube. field here. We really are. We've been around for a long time, but we're really starting to bring a lot more stuff on the YouTube, and it really helps us if you give us a thumbs up. We might have 6,000 or 10,000 people, whatever it is, on Facebook, but we're graduating to YouTube. This is where we want to be doing more stuff, and we've also got a Rumble channel, but at the moment we're focusing on this. So yeah, we love you, we care about you, and we care about those true seekers of truth who are going WTF and what's really going on. So please leave your comments, your questions, whatever it might be, and check out the links there in the description as well. Okay. Have a great day, evening or night, wherever you are.
I think you need to go into the 3 dots and stop live stream.
Stop live stream.